Well, we are back with another video. Today, we're here to talk about my book collection, my first book collection video. As most of these books I've collected over the years, and even just last year, I really got into book collection. So more so me talking about them, I would like to show you everything I collected throughout the last year, and who knows, going forward, I'm going to start up a little series I do where throughout the year, I go out and collect books. You guys see what books I get and everything, from like half price books to Books A Million to Barnes and Noble and many other bookstores out there that are like just scattered around my area that I live in, and or even like the city and the location. And who knows, even when I go out in the world, maybe I'll do a video where I check out a comic book store in another state or something, you know, maybe travel a little bit. But yeah, this is what basically the premise of this video is we're going to be talking about every single book in my collection, and some of them will have elongated responses, some of them won't, because I have certain feelings on some books, certain on other books, but you will understand when I get to them. So let's get right into it. All right, the first book we have to talk about today is the Berserk Deluxe Edition. Now, I've only gotten into this book, or into this series, probably a few years ago. My introduction wasn't the 1990s anime, I believe so. It was the, hold on, let me grab it, hold on. Found it, yeah, found it. Yeah. I was introduced to Berserk through the Golden Age Arc movie collection. I believe this is the three movies that kind of explain the main like basic arcs for Berserk, like how he becomes the Black Swordsman, what he goes through. And I heard it's not really a good adaptation. It's very, again, the CG and the mix of the CG and the 2D animation is very different. But like I said, that's a video for another day. I will be getting into this and doing an first impressions because it's my first ever read of Berserk. I have read the first chapter way back when. I know it gets kind of crazy, but yeah, we will do a first impressions on this. Sorry for like the green lighting. I have like green LEDs behind me and everything right now. So yeah, Berserk Deluxe Edition 1. Okay, the next book we have is Blame Master Edition number 1. Now, I just recently got into this series, and to say this series has little to no exposition and more about the artwork in the panels. It's very intriguing. It's a very intriguing piece of material that I read when I went to New York in the past year. And it is a very, very interesting take. I love the art style. I love the art design, and it's more so it's challenging me to read because, you know, some mangas have more like characters who talk about exposition thing. This book does not have that. This book you have to look at the pictures and basically make up the story in your own head, or even follow along as this character goes through these things, because certain things happen in certain chapters and you feel like, okay, the next chapter, or as they call them, logs, they kind of just they all connect, but they all are different, basically like events in this mega structure they live in. I'm gonna just call it that. But yeah, that is Blame Master Edition. I will probably do another first impressions on this. And I'll be collecting more of this because I do enjoy this series. It's very interesting. Everything out of the artwork, the art detail, even the story that is what I can decipher out of the panels and out of the dialogue that there is when there's dialogue. I will be doing a first impression video on this. So yeah, Berserk Blame Master Edition number 1. The next book series that we have are Bleach's volumes 14, 16, 18, I don't know if you guys can see them, 18, 19, 20, 24, 25, and 31. Now, I don't have a lot of Bleach volumes, even though Bleach is one as I consider it, one of my favorite series of all time. I don't own any Bleach volumes for some reason. I should have had this as a big collection, but it's never been like I said, I never started getting into book collecting until this past year. So I will be probably collecting more of these, or even recollecting these, because these are actually my oldest mangas. I have these are like the oldest ones I own, like next to some other ones that you'll see in this video that are very very old. Like you know a manga's old when the pages start to turn yellow. That's how you know they're old. So yeah, you'll see me collect more of these, or even recollect these, because I got these from a friend years and years ago, and I would rather get brand new volumes, even some of the omnibuses maybe, to start like the recollection of these, because I would rather have new versions of this than these older versions, and try to put these up for like not safe keepings, but for like extra editions or extra people, or people who want to read other things, just for like kids and all that. But yeah, that's Bleach. Favorite series of all time. We'll be doing a video about these pretty soon in the future, and talk about how I collect them, go out in the world, collect more of them, or even buy more off of Amazon and stuff like that. Nothing's out of the picture when it comes to going to buy books. So yeah, let's move on to our next book collection, or books in our collection. On to the next volume, or next set of books. And the first one I'm going to talk about is one book, one web. I don't know if I call it a comic or a graphic novel. I'm going to call it a graphic novel for now, because it's not a manga, but it's a manhwa. It's a manhwa from Webtoon called Chikao, I believe it's called. Chikao. Seven Fates with BTS. I don't know if it's... I've never read this before. I just saw it at Target one day when I was in the book section, and I just flipped through it, and I thought the art style looked pretty cool. I may give this a first reads. It's probably going to be a pretty fast read, and I really like put my time into it. But I'll probably give a first impression on this in the future. So yeah, this is something I was like I said, I picked up at Target. Chikao, I believe it's called. Seven Fates. So our next book, and it's actually our first novel out of our series. If you guys grew up in the late, or were like kind of going through adolescence in the late 2000s, early 2010s, you did read the Catching Fire books. You did read these. You were around the ages around 13, 14, and in those days, you read the Hunger Games books. I have the Catching Fire. I don't know why I don't have the rest of the books, but it's probably for the best, because I'm probably never going to read these ever again. They have the movies you can watch, and I know there's another book in the series, but I have not read that, called something Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know, but I think the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, that's Catching Fire. A really good book, really good read. And who knows, I may pick up the other two just to complete the collection, because I did read all of these. And I saw the movies, so yeah. But I probably will read this, and or at least do a video on these in the future, maybe, if I ever get back to reading them or rereading them, like doing like maybe a movie to book adaptation thing. But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Catching Fire. Next book we have is a cool little omnibus, our first omnibus of the collection. Cells at Work. Well, it's not the first one, because I guess you could say Blame and Berserk are omnibuses as well, but they're kind of like deluxe edition, master edition. But Cells at Work. I got introduced to this via an anime called Cells at Work, and I didn't even know it had a manga. I thought it was just like I thought it was a light novel more than anything. But this is a cool concept for basically, if you know a movie called Osmosis Jones, this is one of those books about, like, kind of based around that, like human biology, what goes on inside of our bodies, white blood cells, red blood cells, and different things. It's a very good anatomy, or a good biology, like info type thing, like informational thing. So who knows? I may do a first impressions on this as well, because I actually haven't opened this yet. My cousin gave it to me like a few months ago, so I will probably read this and talk to you guys about it in the future. So yeah. Cells at Work. So the next book we're here to talk about is by one of my favorite mangakas of this past decade, and it is Shojin X by Sui Ishida. We'll be talking about their other series later in the video that they really got famous off of. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys know what I'm talking about. But I recently got into this last year, and this is an interesting manga. I'm interested. I think I'm in the middle, like volume 3 or volume 2. I don't know. I gotta really reread, go back and see where I left off chapter wise. I read it on my Shonen Jump app on my phone. So I'll be collecting more volumes here on out. Really good manga. I'll give more thoughts on this later in the future. But yeah, Chosen X. And our next manga that we have is a manga called Colorless. Now, this manga is so interesting because the premise is a cosmic disaster basically left the world of black and white, and basically made every single human turn like almost into a monster, like, you know. But the crazy part is colors are the powers in this world. So it's like everything is black and white in this world, like everything, like even the vision and everything. But if you find the color, you're powerful, I guess. I only read about halfway through the first volume. It has hooked me because it's got like it's a noir punk style thriller. It's a thriller more than an action or anything. So I gotta keep reading more, and I probably give you guys a first impression on this manga later down the road. But yeah, Colorless manga. Starting off with our next series, we have something I've really gotten into that is very interesting. DandaDan. This manga is by far one of the most interesting ones that I have read and even watched, because the anime really got me into it. It was something else. Like the first episode was like, I don't know, very good, and then even the first season is very good. And after the first ended, I said, what chapter do I have to go back to? If you are wondering, chapter 35. Go to chapter 35 and you will probably you'll see what's coming next into season 2, because this anime is raw. This anime is raw, and it's so raw. I mean, this manga is raw. I will give more of my thoughts on this later, but without further ado, DandaDan, yeah, that's our next one. It's a really good one. I recommend it. I highly recommend this to everybody. Our next one is Dragon Ball Z Volume 13. Now, this is an interesting one because this is the only Dragon Ball Z manga I have, and it's during the Android saga. So, coolest saga they had. This is, I don't have many thoughts on Dragon Ball Z. It's one of the most collected, or not collected, it's one of the most pop cultured mangas and influential mangas for anime in general. And I'm glad that I actually have owned one of them. I probably collect more going, later down the road, but don't have much thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Volume 13. Read it a while ago. This is another one of my oldest mangas because I got it when I was a kid from a friend who gifted me, I think, for my birthday or so. And yeah, Dragon Ball Z Volume 13. Like I said, more thoughts on this later, but Dragon Ball Z Volume 13. Kind of like a double whammy of sorts, but I have Dune, the real book of Dune. You see, I've only read a bit of it. And then I also have Dune, the graphic novel, book 1. I doubled down on both of these because this series got me really intrigued by the fact that this is I don't know, this is just a very interesting sci-fi world, and it's not all about it's about really the political side of the sci-fi world, how humans have migrated to different worlds, and how we have been, how many worlds will we inhabit, in the far future, like 10,000 years from now, basically. So I'll give my more thoughts on Dune later. Like I said, Dune book 1 and Dune graphic novel book 1. I'll give more thoughts on those books later once I really finish them. But yeah, these are very good. Got more thoughts on them for later. I'll let you know. So yeah, Dune book 1 and graphic novel 1. Okay, so the next book we have is our first graphic novel / comic, and it's a little thing I picked up from the Exchange called Fanboys vs. Zombies number 3. Now, I have not read this because it's the third one, so I kind of want to find the first one to figure out how this even started, because if you guys can tell, this is a homage to Back to the Future cover, and it's very interesting, but I'm trying to figure out who are these characters, what are they doing. It's It's by Boom Studios. It's an interesting looking one. The art style is pretty cool. I didn't really buy it for me per se. I bought it for my nephew, so it's really not mine. But he told me to keep it here because, you know, he has little brothers. He has little brothers that are really young that will probably mess that up. So, and I'm gonna move on to the next book right in this thing, and it's called The Felspire Chronicles. Now, think of a tale as old as Lord of the Rings. Again, this is from DC Black Label, but The Felspire Chronicles reminds me of Lord of the Rings if it had Game of Thrones in it. Very visceral, very gory. The art design is very interesting. My cousin really got me into this last summer. I read about a third of it, and it does hook me, but due to like everything that was going on last year and everything, I haven't really gotten around back to it, but I will probably do a first impressions on this later down the road. So yeah, that is The Felspire Chronicles. Book in our series is this one called Grimoire Noir. Now, I was at the bookstore when I was getting books, when I was picking up books, looking for new stuff to read, and this intrigued me because basically the premise of this is there's a town in this world that is inhabited by men and female. You know, it's a small little town, rural little area, but the twist is every single girl or woman that is born in this world is given basically powers, and when they leave that town, their powers are, they lose them. They don't get them no more. They can't use them at all. So I'm like, that's a very interesting premise. But the real premise is the main character, his little sister, goes missing, and she's considered the most powerful one. But no one knows where she is, and it's got a very interesting tale. I've read about majority of it. I'm at the very end. I'll probably give a first impressions on this, and I think it's this is only number 1. Don't know when this came out, but if I could find more of these are very interesting. I love the art style. I love the art design. It's got a very bleak look to it, but it's also very intriguing as well. So yeah, Grimoire Noir, I believe that's what it's called. Grimoire Noir is Handbook of Mortals. I was giving this to a friend. It was a New York Times bestseller. I have no idea what this book's about because I have no idea what's going on. I only got it because he bought a copy. It was signed to him, but he was like, "I'm not a reader, so do you want it?" I said, "Sure." Shout out to my boy Jamel. He's a cool ass friend. It's like a similar friend to this day, but yeah, Handbook of Mortals. Sorry, I'm messing with things, but I'll probably cut this out of the editing. So editor, edit this out. But yeah, Handbook of Mortals. I'll probably give it a read later down the road. I'll see what it's about, you know. But yeah, Handbook of Mortals. The next book we have in our collection is the entire Harry Potter series. Okay? Entire Harry Potter series. Now, like I said, this is one of the book series that inspired me to create and write, and it's almost like 20. It's over like 20 years old now, and I never owned these before. So as you can tell, I started reading the first book, and this is meant for kids. This is really meant for kids. The direction is pretty cool, but I could tell this is meant for kids. But lately, I wanted to read them last year. Almost got through the first book. I'm gonna continue getting through these because they are a big read of mine. I do love these books a lot. I love the series. I love the world. And we will talk about them more, you know, in the far future. Maybe I'll talk about a video of them with a certain brother of mine who loves this series just as much as I do. And we may, you know, collab a little bit. So yeah, the entire Harry Potter collection. Okay, the next one are kind of big books. So I'm trying my best to hold, I'm not gonna hold them all at one time, but we have Invincible, Compendium 1, Compendium 2, and Compendium 3. Now, to talk about these, like, as much as I can with you guys, I'm not trying to make these videos, like, too long or make these parts too long that I talk about each book, but I love Invincible. It might be one of my favorite superheroes that I've read, story-wise, in a while. Like, from his origin to how he became the way he is, to even how he's becoming a better person. Like, reading this is reading and seeing how it's like meant for more so young adults, because it has young adult themes. There's blood, there's gore, there's a lot, and the art design is very good too. Shout out to all the artists that do this. And it's literally one of the best things I've read for a while, probably superhero wise. But yes, that's all the Invincible compendiums. Here they all are. Oh, they're kind of heavy. Oh, I gotta work out more. There's all the Invincible compendiums. Very good book series to read. I highly recommend it. Yeah, Invincible.